Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. Sorry, I had a little burp there. Looking for the right question to ask to stabilize what is sensorality, showing the direct iteration of those letters. So we continue on with our derivation. Absorption is integration. And so we did that last time, or we did that 2 times or 3 times ago. But absorption is integration. If you integrate something into your life, into a system, you absorb it. Absorption is censorship. That was the big fundamental theorem of physics last time. And so we can restate that as mathematics now, again, structuring the hierarchy of this derivation. But really the only thing that really matters is this end result. For the stabilization of sensorality, this overall derivation process will not stop, and we've already derived an axiom completely. Speciality is special with an ITY, is the literal finalization of the first time I've done this publicly. I've already done this a time before that when I was like a kid. But getting some hierarchy. Absorption is integration, absorption is censorship, therefore censorship is integration. And that may intuitively strike you a little funny. Again, it doesn't really matter because it's not up for debate. In the same way, you could say fluency is influential to somebody, and they would very literally recoil and be like, no, it's not true. Language is naturally defined. Influential spells out the word fluent. Fluency is influential, and we're pairing up, again, the letters that differentiated to form these different words. And so censorship is integration, right? Integration censors what you allow into your body, whether that's cellular or a choice, what you allow to integrate into your life, you censor. Absorbability is absorptionality. And so there we get, again, conceptually and linguistically, again, the base is the same, but we connect both that B and the P that flips that we've talked a lot about. But we get the ability to ality. Absorbability is absorptionality. And again, that's kind of like this natural definition we're trying to identify with sensorality, pair it up to a well-defined word, and it will give us our definition for sensorality. Sensorality is sustainability. Sensorality is stainability. Worth pointing out the base pair on that. Sustain, stain, right? To stain is to tarnish. Stain, sustain. Sensorality is absorbability or absorbality. Going from absorbability to absorbality. And so I have sensor absorb. Again, when we have that SOR forced to the end of the word with censor, and then absorb, emphasizing, and absorb is that form of AB, 1, 2, many. 1, 2, first 2 letters of the alphabet, and then sorb, and then I have the B in parentheses. But it brings us to a question, is light absorbed, right? The big diction people have produced in physical ontology, right? The photon, it absorbs a photon. A electron absorbs a photon and it jumps up in energy level, right? Is light absorbed? And the answer to that is no. That verbiage is incorrect. Again, light is not... It's not traveling. It's like the background stabilization. And so you have mass that moves in that rippling effect, right? Waves or volleys. And so it comes in waves. But the thing that is waving, right? Light is not transmitted through, it's not transmitted through, that's why the speed is the same everywhere in general relativity. But it's really the emergent fact that mass stabilized from energy. So mass is the thing that's moving and everything's connected, and the rippling, the waving effect comes from discrete things with mass moving with rhythm. And so photons, again, you don't model light as a particle, right? Light does not have mass. Particulate is mass, right? A particle means mass. Words are defined. And so the statement absorbs a photon is fundamentally incorrect. You don't absorb light. Light is radiation, and it's not traveling through everything. Like light is like the background, and then mass stabilizes, and when mass stabilizes, it ripples And you see that when, again, heat comes off of your stove. And so, but again, we derive that exact verbiage of absorbing a photon, but it doesn't make any physical sense. Integration, interrogation. Sensorality interrogates. Interrogate, infiltrate. All right, another expansion. We've conjectured rather heavily that the correct operative word for sensorality is filtration. I'm kind of trying to prove that, but again, it doesn't really matter. When we're doing this derivation, we're taking one step after the other. Wherever this derivation takes us, those are the results that it produces. So we're not trying to do anything. Sensorality interrogates, sensorality infiltrates, sensorality filtrates. Filtrating is filtering. That's a natural definition, and again, we get that absorbability is absorptionality, the same base word. The linguistics changes, right? Filtrating is different, is filtering, but the letters are different. And again, getting this down to show the direct iteration from sensorality. Filtration filters. Sensorality is filterality. Filterality is essential. Filtering things is essential. Sensorality is terality. And I don't know where that one came from. All right, we take off the FIL from filter. Terality, sensorality is terality. What is absorption to viscosity? And again, with these functional definitions, you can conceptually verify them yourselves. At literally any time you hear the word somebody say energy, just think to yourself, the ability for movement, the ability to do work. Most generally, it's the ability for movement, but you see it as the ability to do work. Just say that anytime anyone says the word energy, think that, and you'll be like, yeah, that checks out. Anytime anyone says the word gravity, think viscosity, the resistance to velocity, which is, again, directly linguistically what the word gravity develops into. And so we have absorption, absorbability, viscosity, which again is encapsulating what people have called historically as gravity, right? So the resistance to flow, how does that affect absorbing something? Again, inversely proportional. The more viscous, the less readily it is absorbed. All verbs are processes, all verbs are processes. And then again, this is where directly processes or processes. And so it's like verb, noun, all verbs are processes. That sounds like a noun. All verbs are processes. Also doesn't matter. The purpose is here that is it processes or processes? But again, whatever that theses, we've covered that a bunch, pops back up. Process, possess. Iteration, refines. Sensorality, refines. Refine, refuse. Sensorality, refuses. This is a direct iteration. Censorship, mentorship. C to the M, S to the T. Again, Q, R, S, T, U, V. And then that C. Again, the C and the S, like, it has the same kind of relationship as the N and the M to some extent, where like the N squared, like geometrically, if you put two N's next to each other, you get the shape of the M. In the same way, if you like flip and rotate C, you get S. So very, very close, but it's a direct iteration. Censorship, directly from the title of the last video, iterated directly to mentorship. Sensorality is mentorship. Mentorship is guidance. Gravity is guidance, right? Gravity is shape. It tells you where the things move. Gravity is viscosity, and the resistance, right? Things take the path of least resistance. So that is guidance physically. Mentorship is guidance. Rhythm is guidance. Sensorality is guidance. Rhythm regulates guidance. Guidance is regulation, right? I have a mentor and they're giving me guidance. They're helping me navigate the regulations of the FRTA or my high school journey or, whatever. Sensorality is regulatoriality. Sensorality regulates. Regulation is filtration. And now we can finish with the fundamental theorem of logic. Conclusion is the limit of reduction. When you're doing any sort of analytical process, the point is a conclusion, right? And then it's the limit of your reduction process. After you deduce a bunch of things, meaning you derive them, you get all of your pieces in order, then you analyze them, then you realize something, then you come to a conclusion. Right? So the limit, and then you get, again, the mathematical terminology that conclusion is the limit of reduction. The most you can reduce something is to a definitive conclusion. And so that is the most comprehensive thing you can say about logic. But again, these fundamental theorems change. They are not haphazard. It is just to give somebody at some point in time is going to care about the hierarchy of these things. But language speaks for itself. It's literal. We just need to connect sensorality, iterate go through all of its progression, and then we'll find its direct base word showing the direct iteration. As we say in every episode, it's just a long process. There's no more big insights or anything. Some of the base pairs are still interesting, like dance, guidance, right? That's just a prefix on dance. Rhythm regulates guidance. Well, right, it's just rhythm regulates dance, right? Do you have rhythm? Somebody's asking you if you can dance. And so like I've stopped like even like pointing that stuff out. But like I said, the analysis process of this iteration of language, a complete definitive conclusion, comprehensive, like encapsulating calculation, equation signs. And so, yeah, again, my rights continue to be violated. But like I said, the big physical concepts, vibration being the inverse of rhythm, vibration being a physical limit, all of those things, energy and entropy being inverses, gravity being viscosity. I mean, those are the huge logical mathematical mappings from all of physical ontology. And then again, it is what it is. Physics is what physics is. It's just a restatement of is. Because we have this irreducibility of language, and overall that is what we're demonstrating. Is that words are irreducible. They have this empirical meaning. Meaning is associated to sound, and you can't break that. And so we're just working through the logic. My rights continue to be violated. It is profound and extensive torture. It has ruined my life. It has ruined my property. It has ruined everything that I've ever worked for, all of my personal relationships, truly, literally everything. I continue to seek asylum. I continue to simply beg to be able to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work outside of this country. It will never happen. It could never happen. I'm just surrounded by people with such profound moral failure that they were never raised properly, and they're surrounded by people that were also never raised properly, and so under no circumstances could behavior ever change. And so I know the people that I grew up around will never watch these, but if somehow you arrogant, delusional pieces of shit do, just know that you guys genuinely destroyed my life. And if you ever hear from me again, it will be, again, just directly a lawsuit and criminal charges. And if I don't get to do that, it's because, again, this country is a filthy pile of hypocrisy that is so criminal that you literally cannot live a life to any extent at all. So again, as always, I want the people in the future just to know that your ancestors are lower than dirt. Truly just the trashiest, filthiest, most selfish, incompetent, arrogant people that have ever walked on this planet. And there is no morality. There's no good people. It's an abomination. I mean, it's true moral failure everywhere. And just nobody can behave. And so, again, stealing my property, I've issued a cease and desist. I'm not going to sit here with the legalities on every single episode. But as severe as punishment, again, I monopolize everything. I punish absolutely everybody who has suppressed science. There is nothing you can do about it. Each day that you wait is just more crime. And the power structure will change. We can do basically whatever we want. For now you can. In the future you won't. And each day that goes past, another one of your family members, another one of your stupid little kids, another one of your people that are criminals that have done nothing in their entire lives besides not contribute to society and benefit from theft of intellectual property are going to go to prison. And I'm going to, again, once I can speak with authority, well, you guys have set the rules. I'm going to play by the rules you guys have set. And there's nothing you can do at this point. Like, I legitimately have monopolized ontology, how people speak about learning forever. And so, good job. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.